It's me again. I still want to talk. Nice talking mood. I think maybe it'd be a good idea to talk about distancing since it's been coming up lately with clients and my lifetime too. I'll talk about stuff that happens to me, not just my clients. Well, distancing is a behavior that we have to protect ourselves. We literally put distance, emotional distance between us and other people. Um, so we don't have to feel the intensity of our emotions. We don't have to feel the pain. You know, most of us spend a great deal of our lifetime trying to avoid pain because it's unpleasant. But I reiterate, pain, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, is your body's, your unconscious, telling you that something needs your attention. And you have to give it your attention because all it's going to do is ramp up the intensity until you solve the problem, which eventually could kill you. But it's kind of like the splinter in your finger. It's going to keep festering and festering until you take it out. So you might as well deal with it. Easier said than done, I know. But distancing is something actually that we teach in behavior modification, is to put distance between you so the intensity of the emotion is not so strong so that you're not overwhelmed by it. And if you're doing it intentionally, then you have some control over it. But the distancing that I'm talking about is what we're not realizing what we're doing often. And we're not doing it. We don't even know that we're doing it most of the time. How we learn this behavior as children as a protection. It's often if you have erratic parents, you don't know what to expect from them. Alcoholics, crazies. I come from a long line of crazies, so I have a lot of experience with this. You can't deal with them. You don't know what to expect. You don't have any tools as a child. So you go into your shell. You do different things. You can put them on a pedestal because you don't want to admit that they're inadequate, that they're crazy, whatever that is. Putting somebody on a pedestal is a form of distancing. And you make up illusions about them. Make them grander than they were. It comes out in areas. If your parent was emotionally unavailable, of course, the person who distanced is the emotionally unavailable person. But if you had emotionally unavailable parents or caretakers, whoever your caretaker was, that you were dependent upon literally your life for, if they couldn't give you what you needed, which was affection, warmth, love, a safe place to fall, and you couldn't get it from them and you needed it, several things happen. One of them is you begin to feel that you're not worthy of it because you see other children getting it and you're not. So you think there's something wrong with you because we always think everything is about us when we're little. And so you're going to feel unworthy, unlovable. And then you say to yourself, well, I don't need this. I don't need this affection. I don't need this love. I don't need this attention. I don't need this validation. And you put up the walls. And then those are the building bricks of what walls come from. And walls distance us. They distance us. I know a lot about walls. I'm a master builder. I know how to build walls. But I know how to tear them down too. So we say to ourselves, I don't need this. Well, if I don't need it, why does somebody else need it? I can get along without it. How do we manifest this? Well, we go inside ourselves. We say, I don't need this. And if I don't need it, then somebody else doesn't need it. And so we refuse to see and meet the needs of the people that are in our lives. Can't deal with it. We don't give them what they need. We give them what we feel they need because we can deal with that. But we don't give them what they're asking us for. It's hurtful. Really, really is hurtful. That's the parent with the or the husband or the wife or whatever that always says doesn't validate you. Well, they say to you, I expect this from you. You're capable of doing this. I have high expectations for you. And that's, only A's will do. And hell, even if you get an A, they barely say anything about that. So if you come home with a C, even though you worked your ass off for it, or the equivalent of a C if you're an adult, they're not going to say anything to you. They expected it from you. I expect nothing less. They don't want to deal with your fears. And I say, oh, well, he's wimpy. If you do express fear, emotions, she's wimpy. Well, they're not wimpy. They have feelings. But since you can't deal with your own feelings and your own fears, you're certainly going to not recognize them in somebody else. You've just, cut off from your own emotions. The person who distances themselves are also distanced from their own feelings and their own emotions. Well, how? If they're not going to deal with theirs, how are they going to deal with yours? Can't deal with theirs. And they don't do this to hurt you. I think that's the biggest reason to understand this is because if we don't understand why people do this, then we're going to blame ourselves and we're going to think that we are inadequate. Oh, everybody has, issues, okay? We don't need to take on somebody else's issues. So by understanding that this is not saying that the behavior is okay, do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I'm not validating behavior. But the individual who does the distancing, the dismissing, dismissing is simply saying, what your feelings are not important. My feelings or my time frame or my schedule, my whatever is more important than what yours are. The dismissive person is the person who can be an intellectual snob. They can be a highly educated person and look down on other people. Dismissing is a form of judgment. My values are more important than your values. The things I do are more important than yours. That's a dismissive person. And these people, they really genuinely don't understand what they're doing. Well, I mean, certainly there are some narcissistic type people and cruel sociopaths in this world. Most of the people that you and I deal with who are family members, they're not sociopaths, okay? If they are, get the hell out of the way because you're not going to change them. I'm talking about the relationship that you're in with your brother and your sister and just getting through life. And somehow we have to get through it. So, we have to understand something before we can find a solution to it. If you don't know what you made it broke, you can't fix it. At least my belief. Maybe because I understand things, it gives me a little sense of power too. We all have to feel like we have some power. But I think if you understand that, you have a better chance of not getting hurt by it, or at least not as badly hurt. Certainly anytime anybody that you care about who dismisses you is going to be painful. But that is not a judgment of you. And that's what I'm trying to differentiate. Because often, we all have your own issues, and I've got my issues. I don't always feel adequate. And when somebody dismisses me, it makes me angry, because it brings up old wounds. And so then I get defensive, and then I want to attack, and that sure as hell is not going to accomplish anything. Believe me, I've done it. I tell you, it doesn't. That doesn't get. Sometimes you can't help yourself, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Trust me on that one. You'll find out for yourself. But the dismissive person who is distancing and dismissive, even though if they may come across with this air of confidence and they know what they're doing, and dear God, they can be very extremely intelligent and successful people. I'm not saying that. But in their emotional life is what I'm talking about, with the people that they care and love about. These are scared, frightened people, just like the rest of us. We're all scared and frightened about something. It's different for different people. So if you realize that most of the time, at least part of the time, they're not doing this with intention to hurt you. They're trying to keep away from their own pain, not to deal with their own issues. Because if they recognize them in you, then they have to recognize them in themselves. And they've been stuffing this shit for so long, they don't even know it's there half the time, probably more than that. So they don't feel powerful enough. They never were loved enough, cared enough about, that they realize that somebody else can care about how they really feel. They don't truly understand what they're doing to you. They don't. Still pisses us off, I'm not saying that, but if you can understand that, then how you're going to approach it to change it is going to be a little different. You're not going to hopefully feel attacked. That's not their intention. And sometimes you're going to feel that way, because if you really hit some kind of trigger in them, they're going to come across really strong. They can come across, they want to stop everything because they don't want to deal with the emotions and the fears that the situation is bringing up. It's not you, it's them. They most of the time they genuinely don't get it, and they'll say, oh, no matter what I say or do, it's not right. Well, sometimes that's true. But what do you do with it? Well, the first thing is you have to remember that it's not you. Not you. But you have to, if you want to stay in this relationship, if you care, if it's somebody you don't care about, then you get the hell out of there, because this isn't going to change overnight. We try, and we do have behavior techniques and things that we can do that can make it easier. You don't take 40, 50, 60 years worth of behavior and change it overnight. It's going to take time. It's like peeling an onion. You got to move it back slowly. You take these things off. But if you want to stick in there, if you think it's worthwhile to you, and you don't want to distance yourself and just say, I don't care. Saying I don't care is distancing. Maybe you don't care. If you don't care, then get the hell out. Why waste your time? But if you do care, and for some reason you're going to stay in there, then you want to start communicating. And you can't fix these people. You can't fix me. You can't fix anybody else. The only person who can fix me is me. But you can communicate, you can support me, you can support them, and have the courage to talk to them and let them know how you feel. And when they do this, it comes across this way, and it makes me feel, and I feel like this. You don't want to lay blame on them, because if you lay too much blame on them, then they're going to go back into their shell because they felt inadequate to begin with. And this is just going to make them feel more inadequate. Okay. And this isn't easy to do. I'm not saying this is easy to do. I'm not. And you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to have some arguments, but you've got to keep the line of communication open. If you care, you know, I guess I get the hell out of it. But attacking them is not going to help. I know from experience. Trust me. From being on both ends of it. Okay. And besides, I read a lot. But communicate. Take yourself a time out and balance yourself, and then deal with this person and tell them how you feel. And if they care about you, they're going to try and make some changes. And as I say, these changes are not going to come on overnight because they're afraid. They have patterns and they're afraid. But if you reinforce the good behavior when they do something nice for you, or you let them know, hey, I need a hug today. I need you to do this for me. Because when you hug me or you love me and show me that you love me, it really makes me feel good. Maybe they don't understand that they have that kind of power to make you feel good. If they care, they'll want to make you feel good. If they don't care, then they don't care, and nothing's going to change. And then at some point, you have to make that determination. But a lot of what goes on is simply because we don't know how to communicate with each other. So give it a try. And then the other part is ask yourself, do I do this? How often do I dismiss their needs and their feelings? Someone said to me when I was telling them they were insensitive, they said to me, well, some people would think maybe what X is being insensitive. I think about that. And they were right. I was doing something that they had told me was irritating to them. And I continue to do it. So you're not going to solve any of this in one conversation. But you have to look at your responsibility and how much are you participating in it too. Are you being responsive to their needs? We have to give people what they need, not just what we think they need or what we want to give them. I mean, we can give people what we want to give them, certainly. And sometimes that's kind of nice. I like getting presents. But we also need to know what their needs are and be receptive to what people's needs are and give that to them within reason. Relationships are negotiated. The producer, he's leaving. We have to do that. We have to negotiate. I'm going to meet some of your needs if you can meet some of my needs. And okay, maybe I seem too needy to you. All right, I can see it that you know, if you're an emotionally unavailable person, you get somebody like me, oh my God, who's always wanted to express their emotions. That can be scary. Okay, so all right, I'll negotiate. You don't want that, but I'll try and hold back a little bit if you'll give me more. Okay, the art of the deal. But that's what life is. Life is the art of the deal. So ask yourself too, what is your participation in this? Are you asking too much? Are you asking someone else to fulfill all your needs? Are all your needs realistic? I'm not saying, sometimes that someone doesn't have a reason to be dismissive or pull into their shell. So you have to take an inventory of yourself too, and see what's realistic. Don't dismiss somebody. Talk to them. Communicate. Life is too damn short, believe me. To miss a day and not show or say to your friends and the people around you, your loved one, to not say I love you or show it some way. Too short, baby. Not to communicate. What are you going to lose? What? If you're listening to this and it's resonating with you, the whole situation probably sucks anyway. So what do you got to lose? Think about it that way. Okay. That's enough on that subject. Think about it. First, talk to me. You know how to find me. Got a website, SonnyWeiss.com. Email, sonny.weiss@gmail.com. I'm all over the internet. I'll talk to you. Okay. Where's the stop button? I can't. You know how much trouble I have with the stop button. Where is